Today, we're breaking down a tense encounter during a traffic stop where things escalate quickly. We'll dive into the do's and don'ts to, when interacting with law enforcement. And why clear communication is key during these situations, if you know what I mean. Stick around to learn some valuable, very valuable insights that might just keep you, you safe if you're ever in a similar situation.
Stay in the car.
What are you putting me up for?
It shows you're suspended.
I'm not suspended. I just sent out a check. I'm not.
Okay, let me see your driver's license. Let me see your driver's license.
It's nothing to see, bro. It's nothing to see.
Let me see your driver's
Call my
license.
case manager because I just sent out that.
Your driver's license and proof of insurance. Do you have your driver's license and proof
Yes,
of
I do.
insurance?
But you just pulled me
May I
over.
see
What's
it?
your reason for pulling me over?
You failed to signal, go around the truck, and
No, I
show you're
didn't. No,
suspended.
I didn't. You just lied. Watch out.
No,
What are you
no,
doing? What are you doing? I'm closing my
conducting
door.
a traffic stop.
Okay.
How crazy is that? She just started closing her door whenever the cop started asking her to see her driver license and stuff. She wanted to just close her door on a cop during a traffic stop, which we all know is not a very good idea at all. And right from the start, we see resistance. It's essential to understand that during a traffic stop, legally you're expected to provide identification, and insurance and whatever is requested, like your driver license, and stuff like that. But refusing, if you refuse this simple step is often where things often start to go wrong if you start to refuse what the cop is trying to tell you to do. You get what I'm saying?
But you didn't know, bro. Watch out. Let me close my door.
No, you're not
Let
closing.
me close my door. You're doing.
Do you have your driver's license, yes
What do
or
you
no?
need my driver's license for?
I'm conducting a traffic stop. That's why. I need to
Well, shut the
identify
door.
who you are. What's your name then? Since you don't have your driver's
Who
license.
told you I didn't have my driver's license? You just
You haven't produced it.
I don't have to produce you with anything.
Yes,
at
you
the
do.
moment. I don't. I pulled it over to get gas.
This is a traffic stop.
I don't care what it is.
Required by
I don't
state
care.
And if there's one key takeaway here, is that even if you're frustrated, complying, initially allows you to address misunderstandings later, if you know what I mean. Like, law enforcement is trained to de-escalate, situations that might, be something that could escalate. They're trained to de-escalate those type of situations, and it's just crazy. But to think refusal to cooperate puts everyone on edge. You know what I mean?
I don't.
If you don't
Be quite
identify
frank, I
yourself,
don't.
I'm going to arrest you.
You're not arresting anything.
So that was pretty crazy, right? That's kind of like rebelling against what the cop is telling you. He clearly told her that she needed her ID and that he needs her ID, a driver license to see what's going on and everything. And she just refused, she is just refusing so far to give it to him, which brings up an educational note. You should never refuse your driver license when a cop has a valid reason to pull you over and stop you on the road or anything like that, and ask you for your driver license, right? You should have all that somewhere. Like, you should have it all somewhere where you could just get it and give it to him, right? But this moment right here, this is where it gets critical. Like, if you're told refusal will lead to an arrest, it's a signal that cooperation may still resolve things peacefully. You get what I'm saying? And standing your ground in the wrong way. Listen, standing your ground in the wrong way, unfortunately, just escalates the whole issue.
I don't care who you're calling.
No, because
I need to
this is
identify you. Put the phone away. Do you have ID or not?
Yes, I do.
I need to see your ID.
Okay, well,
if you don't
can you
show
shut
me
my
your
door?
ID, I will arrest you.
Well, can you shut my door?
No.
I'm about to keep calling until I get a hold of somebody because they didn't send the check out to me. There's nothing for me to tell you. I can give you a piece of paper to tell you that they sent the check out, but there's nothing else that I can give you.
Okay, well, I need to see your ID. Is that what you're getting, your ID?
No.
Huh?
So how crazy is that, right? The officer's asking her to provide her ID, and whenever she goes and she's searching around her car, and looking around, digging and stuff, looking for it, and the cop asks her if she's looking for her ID, and she says no. That right there is a big mistake, So in the cop's eyes, it's probably like, well, what is she digging for? What is she looking for if she's not looking for the ID that he wanted her to get, right? And at this point, the driver is typically not typically, but the driver's trying to provide identification. But there's already distrust building and keeping your movements clear and calm Like saying I'm reaching for my wallet now helps avoid misunderstandings.
Unless you're getting your ID, quit reaching around the car. Last chance. Come over.
I'm telling you, I'm providing you with my information. That's it. Like,
Do you have your ID or not?
yes, I do.
Quit reaching around the car.
Did you just not tell me to provide you with my ID? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no, right?
Where's it
Yes or no?
Stop reaching around.
Step out of the
I'm
car.
looking for my ID.
I'm ordering you out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out.
All right, watch out.
Get out of the
All
car.
right, get out. Watch out. Watch out. So I can lock the door and get out and put my keys in
No,
the
get
car.
out of the car.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
See, that's the real problem. You know, she was not getting her ID. She just was trying to prolong the process, it seemed like, right? And this is where non-compliance leads to physical, intervention. Once the officer orders you out of the car, it's best to step out. You get what I'm saying? Like, calmly and discuss, the issues from a, safer position, basically. But physical resistance almost always results in more serious charges. Basically almost every time there's physical resistance, you see somebody getting arrested. That's why it's never a good idea to act aggressively or like physically resist, and stuff like that against an officer and stuff. It's never a good idea, and it's something you want to avoid. You want to remain calm in those type of situations.
Stay right here. Where are you going? Stand right here.
Stop touching me, bro. I'm trying to call my case manager. Move.
All right, just put her in here.
Like, I'm trying to call my case manager. Going around this is blowing the out of me, bro.
And you know what's crazy? You see the driver arguing about calling her case manager and stuff like that, but making phone calls during an active, law enforcement situation isn't advisable. Like, you get what I'm saying? Officers are trained to like see this and as a potential threat or distraction, even like to what they're doing. They don't want you to be distracted while they're trying to do their job, and get things going. Like, that's why it's best to keep your hands visible and focus on immediate compliance.
You are under arrest.
Suspect was charged with driving under suspension, simple assault, and assault on a police officer. She is innocent until proven guilty.
That's a huge no-no right there. Kicking at a police officer and stuff like that during an arrest. That just leads to probably more charges and more fines that probably you have to pay and all that kind of stuff. But what's so crazy is that this encounter could have ended much differently with calm compliance and and all that kind of stuff. Like, if she would have just remained calm in those type of situations, everything probably would have went normal and good. Maybe she would have got a ticket on her way out, but no telling really. But fighting legal issues, happens in court, not during the traffic stop itself.